Before we get into the speaking portion, I would like to welcome the Boston Police Gala column of pipes and drums. Thank you. Welcome everybody to the 38th Annual National Night Out events. My name is Carrie Ryan and I'm the Director of Community Engagement for the Boston Police. I have had the honor of helping organize these events in some capacity for the last 12 years. And last week, actually, on my Facebook memories, a picture popped up from the very first event that I helped plan in Roslindale in Adams Corner. And when I looked at the picture, all I could think of was that day the captain called me. Captain Hassan was my captain at the time, and he called me and he said, "Carrie, great news. Hood has donated 500 hoodsies to this event. You just got to go pick them up in Charlestown." Anyone that knows me knows that I said, "Oh my God, that's so great. Kids are going to love it. Awesome." I hopped into the van and I said, "Okay, it's noon. This thing starts at 5:30. How am I keeping 500 hoodsies cold?" So I'm freaking out. I call the two officers that I work with. They're actually not here today, but they're from E5. And between the three of us, we called our partners at the Casterly House and Sacred Heart, the Roslindale Community Center, and Roslindale Main Streets. And by the time I got back from Charlestown, I had a place to put all of my 500 hoodsies. And I tell that story because it's a great example of the community partnerships that we're celebrating today. This room is filled with those people that step up when we need them. So thank you everybody for being here today. Also because it tells the story about the craziness that goes on behind the scenes of planning this event. So to Aliza Rodriguez and Wallace Tilford from my office, thank you for getting this together today. And I'm so thankful for my three very special helpers, Leah, Mia, and Moni, who are sitting right here. They came in, they helped me decorate the room. So thank you for being here. I'd like to introduce Mayor Janey. Please, if you'd like to come up and get the speaking portion started. Thank you for being with us today.
Well, thank you, Carrie. I really appreciate all of the work that you do, certainly leading the community engagement and collaboration for the Boston Police Neighborhood Watch Unit. I want to appreciate everything you've done over the last 12 years and how great it is to celebrate 38 years. I want to just recognize a couple of the public officials here with us today. Many of them are sitting over at this table. I want to recognize First Assistant Dan Mulhern, who is here on behalf of Suffolk County District Attorney Rachel Rollins. Dan, thank you. We are also joined by Sheriff Steve Tompkins, who is here. Please give it up for each and every one. Chief Long is here. Superintendent Nora Baston is here. Deputy Superintendents James Chen and Richard Dahill. All of our Boston Police captains and community service officers, whether they are here or not, please give a big round of applause. The representatives of the Boston Police Foundation, thank you so much for sponsoring this event. And to all of the officers who serve every single day, please give them a big round of applause. And finally, I'd like to recognize members of my team. I am joined by members of my dignitary detail who do tremendous work every single day, and so I want to recognize them. If you could please give it up for our sergeant, Janey over here. I'm not sure if Officer Woods is still with us, but she got me here safely, so I certainly appreciate everything that she does. And then I have a number of folks here from my cabinet, and I won't go through every single name, but please just give a warm round of applause for members that are here on my cabinet. And I do want to recognize that Stephanie Everett is here, who is leading up the Office of Police Accountability and Transparency. Thank you so much for your work and your partnership with our police department. National Night Out is an important event, and it has been running now for 38 years, and that is incredible. Since 1984, this event has been a celebration and a cultivation of the ties between the Boston community and the Boston Police Department. And while we cannot celebrate today the way we have traditionally with the motorcade and lots of great events in our parks, it is still very important that we come together to mark this occasion. And I'm really grateful to be here with all of you. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to visit a number of National Night Outs, and they have always been filled with lots of family-friendly, fun activities, including music, game, and of course, ice cream, which we can all thank Carrie for. It has always been a reminder that the city's public safety is not limited to the work of our police, and we are really grateful for the work that they do every single day. And it goes without saying that everyone here, we lift up with a debt of gratitude for the work that you do every day. Just this morning on one of our mini meetings that we had, we heard the stats that in terms of the downward trend continuing to go down in terms of violent crime in our neighborhoods, and that is due in large part to the Boston Police Department being led by Chief Long, so really appreciate that. In addition, it is the work that our community partners do, whether they are the churches who have been active on neighborhood walks, whether it is the folks who join us on our trauma teams, whether it is the way that a resident will just check on an elderly neighbor, or whether it is the way an elderly neighbor looks out for kids who are playing in the playground. It is the way that we all check in on each other to offer food and support, and we know how critically that has been during the last 18 months as we have battled COVID-19. And it is certainly the way that we've all come together for neighborhood cleanups. I really appreciate the people of Boston of all ages who help contribute to creating a vibrant community. And that includes, obviously, our civic associations and certainly the neighborhood watch groups. My hope for this year's National Night Out event is that we see Boston's resilience and dedication to healing, justice, and peace in every single neighborhood. Together, we can ensure that our communities are safe. I want to now give a special round of applause to the district level recipients of the Crime Watch Group of the Year Award and the Citywide Crime Fighter of the Year Award. So if you would please join me with a loud shout out and round of applause so that we can congratulate each and every one. And now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the next speaker. He has been an amazing partner in this work with me over the last 4 months. I am certainly very grateful for his leadership. He has taken on double duty, serving as Superintendent in Chief, as well as our acting commissioner. He has been a great communicator and collaborator, and I'm really grateful for everything that he does for the Boston Police Department and the way he serves the city of Boston. So please join me in welcoming to the podium Chief Greg Long.
First, I want to start off, again, echo the mayor's sentiments, thank Kerry and all your staff. Again, it's been a long year, and it's good that, we're finally getting back together in person. It makes a huge difference. I want to say that I am honored to be here today. It is an honor for me to be here in a room full of people that care so much about their city in so many different ways. And we're going to hear some of these stories that tell that. But it's a great moment for me to be here today, and thank you for having me. Before I begin, I want to thank the mayor. I can't say enough about the support that she gives the Boston Police Department and the resources that enable us to do the job that we do every day, and so I want to thank you, Mayor. I want to thank Sheriff Tompkins. I want to acknowledge the work you do in the realm of public safety, but also the work you guys do in the community. You do a tremendous job, and I want to thank you for that. And then First Assistant Dan Mulhern and District Attorney Rachel Rollins, again, I want to highlight the work that you do in terms of public safety, but also the work you guys do in the community. You've been doing it for years, and it makes a huge difference. The mayor had brought up some of the statistics that we're seeing in this department, right? And again, I always hesitate to talk about statistics because, they're fleeting at times, but there is a tremendous amount of good police work being done in collaboration with the community. Your violent crime is down 16%, Part 1 crime is down 16%, and we have a huge reduction in shooting victims. But that work and those numbers are not possible if you don't have this type of relationship with your community. Those numbers are reflective of this type of work that we do, and it's gone on in Boston for a long time. It is extremely strong in this city, and it will for, years to come. And again, you don't get to those numbers without this type of partnership. So again, I want to thank everyone, the police and the community, for the work that you're doing. I know you can never rest on your laurels because it's every day you're doing, it's back to work again. So 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and again, I appreciate it. I don't want to be up here all day. I'm going to take the wind out of the room. But, every year, National Night Out Day provides an opportunity to highlight the vital relationship between the police and the community. As I've said it before, a police department's legitimacy is reliant on that relationship with the community. As you're going to hear in a couple of minutes, you're going to hear stories of residents all across this city who work collaboratively with the police department to address public safety issues, quality of life issues, as well as foster communities that literally and figuratively take care of each other and watch over one another. The work it's incredible. It's even more so due to the fact that this work was being done during a pandemic, and this community act that people in the community and these community groups figured out a way to do it. Beyond crime prevention, you're going to hear stories of tutoring and clothes drives. You're going to hear residents that go out of their way to make sure that residents know what resources are available to them. It is incredible work, and it goes on every day. And again, I can't thank you enough for the work that you do. So in closing, again, I want to acknowledge all the hard work that's done every single day, and I want to thank you for your valuable partnership. That same partnership that forms that essential trust between the community and the police. And I just want you to know that your work isn't taken for granted. It never has, it never will be. And again, I want to congratulate all the award recipients, as well as everybody else in this room from the community that does that work every day. So I want to thank each one of you, and congratulations. So next, already mentioned, I want to introduce Suffolk County Sheriff Steve Tompkins.
So I must say, I didn't know that I was on a speaking program today. If I did, I would have worn a tie and tucked my shirt in. But listen, the thing about National Night Out and being in this room with everyone here is that it's nice and it's cool and it's comfortable. Historically, National Night Out has been the hottest day of the year. And it's a long, that's right, right? And it's a long, long day. So it's a pleasure to be here and stand in front of you. I've known Superintendent Long for many, many years. And as the mayor mentioned, he is a guy who understands what it means to be a community advocate. He's a guy who wears his heart right here every day for all to see, and really works mightily to make sure that the communities that he has jurisdictions over will understand that the police will always be in evidence, the police will always be there, and the police will keep those communities safe. So please, one more time, a round of applause for Superintendent Long. When I was a wee lad of about 11 years old, I had a conversation with my mother wherein she said to me, she said, son, as you get older, I want you to understand that women really run the world. We just let you guys think you run the world. And I say that to say, look at people applauding. The ladies are like, yeah, dude, you got it. I say that to say that our mayor, Mayor Janey, is doing one heck of a job in making sure that everything that is needed by the citizens of this great city is afforded to them. She's put together a stellar team. She understands community. She goes back 4, 5, 6 generations, the Janeys in the city. So it really should be called Janeyville instead of Boston. My bad. But I am honored to know her as a friend, socially and professionally. I am honored to work with you, and I look forward to a long working relationship with you, ma'am. Thank you for everything that you do. Before I bring up the next speaker, just let me say this about community. I'm a county official, meaning that Boston, Chelsea, Winthrop, and Revere is kind of under my jurisdiction. And the thing about that, and the reason that I cite that, is to say that our differences are our strengths. And when you go from different communities, you meet different people of different backgrounds. But at the end of the day, they all want what's best for themselves, for their families, and their communities. And so to have this celebration for 38 years now, and 38 more to come, many more to come after that, it's just a testament to the fact that this is a strong, vibrant city, county, and state. As you know, the Commonwealth leads the way in a number of categories. And so we should be lucky. We should count our stars to be called Bostonians or to live in Boston and get to roll up our sleeves every day to work with our neighbors and our communities to make this the vibrant place that it has been, that it will be for some time to come. So please give the city of Boston a round of applause. And finally, let me segue to bringing up the next speaker, Dan Mulhern. Dan Mulhern is a good man. Back in the day, they tell me that Dan Mulhern was quite the baller, that he could really get up and down the court and inflict some damage, and do it well. So given that I didn't get a chance to play ball against you back then, anytime you're ready, brother, all right? I'm just throwing it out there. Anytime you're ready. Okay, there it is. This is gonna be a pay-per-view thing, right? McGregor's got nothing on us. Listen, Daniel Mulhern, once again, like the people that I've just mentioned, really gets it. Really gets it. And Dan Mulhern has spent countless hours in all of these communities. And everybody knows Dan Mulhern. And everybody knows the work that Dan Mulhern does. The tough thing about Dan Mulhern, though, is you can hardly get him on the phone because he's so busy. And so when you call him, he'll get back to you. He'll get back to you. It may be a month later. No, I'm only kidding, Danny. He will get back to you pretty swiftly. And the first thing he will ask you is, what do you need? What do you need? How can I help you? And that's the testament of a true public servant. Please, a rousing round of applause for the First Assistant District Attorney, Daniel Mulhern!
Good afternoon, everyone. And first and foremost, on behalf of Rachel, who is supporting her oldest daughter now in her endeavor to become the best high school hurdler in the United States, I'm here with a colleague, Ricky Grant, who is taking a photo over here. Ricky is the Director of Community Engagement. So a special gratitude to Mayor Janey, first for the invite to allow us to be part of this lunch. A special thank you to the Sheriff. A special thank you to Commissioner Long for having us in the room with you. So I'm going to try not to repeat much of what has been already said. They stole all of my thunder, but I do want to say also recognize Superintendent Baston and Deputy Chin. Frequently, I have had the pleasure of knowing Nora, I think, since her early days in the police department. And when Steve talks about my answering the phone and saying, what do you need? I can't think of one occasion where anyone in this room has said no at any request, either small or large, to get help where it needed to go. And so Nora and Jimmy are really spearheading those efforts on behalf of the department, and for that I'm forever grateful to be a partner. I also want to say something about the captains. The captains, in my opinion, frequently go overlooked in the department, and but for the captains in their leadership in their respective districts, we wouldn't have the relationship with the community partners. And we often talk about the leadership and the current commissioner who deserves all the accolades. We frequently talk about the mayor's leadership and someone that truly understands neighborhoods and what neighborhoods need. But we don't talk about the captains enough. So if I could just ask for a round of applause for the captains in the room. So I'm going to finish up with telling you a quick story and really keeping the whole concept of National Night, really dumbing it down, I think, for all of us. In law enforcement and government, and all the wonderful people in this room, we frequently get paid to make problems more complicated than they are, or challenges more complicated than they are. But what National Night Out is really, and what Carrie and her team have led up, it's getting people comfortable coming out onto their front porch, going to the park, going down to the neighborhood store. The whole idea is to get people in our community to come out and say hello to each other, right? And that really is the foundation for strong communities and strong relationships. Probably 5 or 6 years ago, before I was lucky enough and privileged enough to come back to work with Rachel, who understands this, in my opinion, better than anyone I've ever been around. She understands the importance of a conversation. She understands the importance of tapping someone on the shoulder, and more importantly, saying, hey, what do you need? How can I help? We were lucky enough to have Ricky come on board, who understands the importance. Again, it's usually the little things that we do that matter the most, not the big things. And Rachel has, again, from my perch, having seen a number of government officials very similar to the mayor, made themselves available in ways that you don't traditionally see from a prosecutor or a mayor. And I was lucky enough to work with Mayor Walsh, and I saw him do that as well. When I worked for Mayor Walsh, we were in the middle of Ferguson had happened, and there was a lot of tension between police and communities. And we had a fatal shooting on Humboldt Avenue. And I can't remember the day of the week that it happened, but a young man passed away as a result of an interaction with Boston police, and a Boston police officer was shot at point blank range in the face. And I had gotten a number of calls at that time about what's the police department going to do? Are they going to come up here? Is it going to become a war zone? Are they going to be tipping people upside down and making sure that there was zero tolerance? And I called a friend of mine who currently now works for Mayor Janey, Rufus Falk, who lived a couple of doors down, and I said, listen, man, how's it going up there? And he said, the tension is beyond what you can imagine. And I said, look, I'm going to come up to Trotter Park on Friday night and just roll a basketball out. And all joking aside, Steve, I can't play a lick right now. But Nora will be the first to tell you, sometimes just rolling a ball out onto a court and asking people to come out and run up and down makes all the difference in the world. And when I think about the Boston Police Department, when I think about the fact that they were just involved in this fatal incident with a member of our community, when I think about the fact that a Boston police officer was shot directly in the face at point-blank range, and the Boston police response was absolutely, we'll be there. And Nora was there that night. We went up, we ran up and down Trotter Park. Couldn't hit a shot all night, but did hit one at the buzzer over a young man that was murdered a year later by the name of Eric Jackson. Some of you might know Eric, but so that's really what National Night Out is about. It's the Boston Police Department, the partners in this room. I can't congratulate a number of the awardees, some of them I know personally, on your dedication to the city of Boston. So from the bottom of my heart, from Ricky's heart, and more importantly from Rachel's heart, thank you for having us, and congratulations. And I think I turn it back over to Kerry. Right?
Thank you all for being here today. And I should mention, since that day, we have gotten an ice cream truck, and it was the best day of my career. So now the reason that we're all here, we're going to be handing out some district awards. I'm going to call everyone up by district. So we're going to start with District 1. There they are. And then we'll just go down the line. So if you guys would like to come up to the podium and present your award.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're here to present this Community Service Award to Mary Ann Plani. Police work is public safety, and much of public safety revolves around reducing the harm to our most vulnerable. 2020 was a year that most of us would like to forget. It was a time of uncertainty and unrest that often seemed as if it had no end in sight. Many of us struggled with everyday tasks, such as having our children learn remotely and caring for elderly parents. We had to adjust to new ways of living, wearing masks, and socially distancing ourselves. Stores and restaurants began to close, and many are closed for good. Anxiety levels were high, and the stress of making ends meet became an everyday worry for many. Imagine then that you're homeless, struggling with substance abuse and mental illness. Many shelters reduced their capacity, and many of those in need were forced onto the streets to fend for themselves. As the vast majority of people began working remotely, and many stayed away from downtown Boston, our officers continued to walk the streets, caring for and protecting those most in need. Throughout this time, there was one consistent partner, Mary Ann Plani, still walking the streets and engaging with those that needed her most. As Director of Outreach at St. Anthony's Shrine, Mary Ann realized the homeless population were extremely vulnerable. Mary Ann took to the streets day and night to provide those at the greatest risk with a small bit of care, comfort, and a shoulder to lean on. She does this effortlessly and without seeking attention, validation, or accolades. In addition to her homeless outreach, she's a vital partner of the offices of District 1. She provides vital insight and guidance to officers when engaged with a person at risk. Her work as the co-leader of District 1's High Contact Project has enabled us to reduce crime by reducing vulnerability. By engaging those most at risk of police interaction with healthcare, recovery services, and housing, the partnership that has been established with Mary Ann has allowed us to fight crime while working through the lens of mental health and substance abuse treatment, as opposed to the more punitive aspects of the criminal justice system. Throughout the pandemic and the foreseeable future, Mary Ann is the one constant for many of the people that call the streets their home. She's helped many individuals get through tough times with some peace and stability. Because of Mary Ann's dedication and passionate commitment to her work, the Boston Police would like to award her this Community Service Award.
Congratulations. Our next award is East Boston Hub.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I'm Lieutenant James Martin. Captain McCormick couldn't make it today. He's on vacation. I have with me Derek Russo, who's a member of the Hub also, one of the community service officers, and community service supervisor, Richie Santolo. So this year, excuse me? Oh, I'm sorry. Joey Santolo.
Thanks, Sergeant.
Sorry. Captain today. So this year we are nominating the East Boston Hub program for the Crime Watch Group of the Year. The East Boston Hub, led by Joanna Cataldo and Erin Borgo, who is not present today, she couldn't make it, have put forward an extraordinary effort to assist at-risk East Boston community members and families. The East Boston Hub has helped over 150 at-risk community members while also aiding in the decrease of crime. The East Boston Hub team, partnered with the Area A7 Community Service Officers, consists of members of the East Boston Neighborhoods Health Center, North Suffolk Mental Health Center, MGH, BMC, the BEST Team, Youth Connect, Department of Mental Health, East Boston Probate Court, Harbor Cove, Peer Project, APAC, and Elliott Community Human Services, SOAR and ROCA, and they help identify situations where individuals and or families are facing acutely elevated levels of risk. The team then brings the individual forward to the situation table for the discussion. The team then connects the person or the family to the needed services with the utmost empathy, then follows up with the family to be certain that there is no longer an elevated risk. The Hub team's dedication and effort has decreased the number of repeat 9/11 calls, reduced the crime in East Boston, and most importantly, improved the quality of life for the individual in the neighborhood they reside in. The continued communication and partnership that we share with the Hub team leads us to nominate Joanna Cataldo, as well as the entire East Boston Hub team for District 7's Crime Watch Group of the Year.
Congratulations, Joanna. I must say, if there's one thing that I missed today, it's the pizza that we get in East Boston. Our next award is going to our longtime friend, Mike Kozu from Project Right.
Good afternoon, all. I'm Sergeant Sullivan, and this is Joey Key, Officer Joey Key from the Community Service Office. Unfortunately, Captain Cogman was unable to make it today. And if you don't know him, you should. Excuse me, this is Mr. Mike Kuzo. The B2 Community Service Office would like to recognize Mike Kuzo for his relentless efforts in keeping the Roxbury community safe and keeping residents informed. During the height of the pandemic, Mike continued his work with trauma response, quality of life issues, and ensuring that residents are aware of the resources available to them. All of this done while continuing to attend a variety of community meetings, host neighborhood walks, and staying committed to our local public schools. But most of all, Mike's commitment to working collaboratively with the Boston Police Department has not gone unnoticed. On behalf of District B2, we thank him and name him the recipient of the 2021 Community Service Award for the District of B2.
Mike continuing his advocacy.
Congratulations, Mike, and thank you for everything that you do. Our next award winner is Earl Falk. Oh,
So, my name is John Flynn. I'm the captain of District 3. I have Sergeant Morissette with me, also is the community service sergeant, and I have our recipient, Earl Falk, the Crime Fighter of the Year out in District 3. And they wrote some nice stuff here that I have in front of me. But I just want to just tell you a little story about Earl and how I got to know him. So, in this day and age, when everyone does emails and things like that, phone calls, what Earl did was, Earl wrote me a letter. And he wrote me a nice long letter. I was the new captain of B3, and he basically listed all the things that he wanted us to do for the Mattapan community and specifically Almont Park. And some of the things we could do, like have offices there regularly. Some of the things we couldn't do, put up signs, mow the lawn. But we still, we went through it step by step. But one of the things he wanted to do, and I'll tell you, Earl is a true ambassador for Mattapan and the city of Boston, and specifically Almont Park. And so one of the things he wanted to do, he wanted to walk with me. And he said, I'd done it with all the other captains, and at very reasonable request, I said, of course, I'll come down and I'll walk with you. And so we walked the park, and he took me step by step through the gardens, through the playgrounds, through all the different things they do with the park. It's a wonderful location over in Mattapan. And one of the things he would say is, well, this is a real diamond in the rough. But I'd say Earl's, and the first thing he said to me, call me Earl the Pearl. So Earl the Pearl is really our diamond in the rough. And so he's just done a great job for the community. I'm very pleased to be here recognizing him. I said to Earl, I was with him last Friday, there were hundreds of kids in the park. I said to Earl, one thing I need you to do. He kept saying, I need you to have the officers here. I said, no problem, we'll have the officers here regular. Probably at least 10 officers down there that day, playing different games with the children. And Earl can tell you, and he will, there's at least 6 groups, at least 500 people in the park that afternoon. And that's a regular occurrence. But I said, Earl, one thing I need you to do for the Boston Police Department, City of Boston, I need you to get me 50 more Earl the Pearls, and we won't have any problems. So it's my pleasure to give this award to Earl Falk for being the Crime Fighter of the Year for Mattapan. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Earl, and I love the handwritten letter story. My grandmother still writes me handwritten letters, not to mow the lawn because I'm the tallest grandchild. She asks me to wash the curtains because I can lift them off. Our next award is to the City Point Neighborhood Association.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Joe Boyle from District 6, South Boston, with Sergeant Steve McNeil. The award today is for Luann O'Connor from the City Point Neighborhood Association. Luann has been serving the community for many years, working in partnership with residents, neighborhood leaders, and the police to solve problems large and small. Over the past year, the City Point neighborhood has dealt with several challenges to include various quality of life issues, an increase in traffic on neighborhood streets, and continued development taking place in the area. The City Point Neighborhood Association, led by Luann, is quick to seek out information, get answers, and work in partnership to bring out solutions. They have formed a strong working relationship with the Boston Police and other stakeholders in the community. Whenever an issue arises, Luann communicates with C6 as well as other community partners. All parties then work together to address the issue with constant communication back and forth until the problem is solved. Furthermore, over the last year, Luann and the City Point Neighborhood Association did not let COVID-19 interfere with keeping the lines of communication open among the residents in the community, the Boston Police, and other stakeholders. They took an active role in setting up Zoom virtual meetings in order to continue the partnership that kept the community strong and engaged. Because of her hard work, leadership, and pride in her community, we're proud to present Luann O'Connor with a Crime Watch Group of the Year Award to Luann, and the City Point Neighborhood Association.
Congratulations. Our next award is Pastor Roxy Kwaku. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Steve McLaughlin. I'm the captain of C11. I have Sergeant Tim Golden with me and Officer Manny Danberville and Reverend Kwaku and our granddaughter who wants to be up here as much as I do. So, this year's Community Service Award for Area C11 is going to Pastor Roxy Kwaku. Pastor Roxy, who is also known as Mother Roxy, has been an active resident, advocate, educator, parent, grandparent, and religious community leader in the city of Boston for many years. She believes in the power of giving back and serving others. Pastor Roxy regularly mentors young and younger adults in caring about the neighborhood and people in it. The pastor demonstrates daily what she preaches through action and selflessness. Pastor Roxy is a retired teacher and principal who continues to teach and tutor youth, preparing them for exams such as the SAT, PSAT, and ACT. She opens up her home to neighborhood teens throughout the city of Boston through an officer-run program known as Hail Boston. She has supported Hail Boston since its inception 2 years ago. Pastor Roxy has helped by supplying school necessities and clothing, assisting with the cost of field trips to such places as amusement parks, and has offered her wisdom to the youth she encounters. Pastor Roxy has said many times how to best fight crime is to do the work of prevention, which is largely found in the reinvestment and education of our young. For her strong and continuous commitment to the youth of the city of Boston, her selflessness and willingness to share her home, wisdom, guidance, and counsel, and her desire to guide those she comes into contact with on the path of education, and her strong ties to Hail Boston, we present Pastor Roxy with this Community Service Award.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Our next award is going to the Blackstone Franklin Square Neighborhood Association.
Thank you. I'm Steve Sweeney from the captain down at District 4. And with us today, I have Sergeant Paul DeLeo from our community service, Jonathan Alves, Vice President of the Blackstone Franklin Group, and taking a few pictures over there is the President of the Blackstone Franklin Group, David Stone. I met these gentlemen about 3 years ago down at District 4 in the two parks, Blackstone Square and Franklin Square Park. One of the parks was kind of overrun with some quality of life issues that we addressed with having more police in the park, and we would do some cleanups down there. 3 years ago, over the course of a few months would pick up 80 or so needles, and I think we did a cleanup about a month ago, and we had 2 needles in the park, and it's just from the partnership, collaboration we have with them, and really the friendship. So I just want to thank you guys before I read this for the help down at District 4. The D4 Community Service Award has nominated the Blackstone Franklin Square Neighborhood Association as the district's Crime Watch Group of the Year. This group is an extremely vital partner of D4 and the community at large. This positive and productive relationship allows the community members an opportunity to have a clear line of communication with the officers that patrol their neighborhood, whether it be the diligent cleaning up of local parks and squares or the ability to bridge the gap between community members and the officers of D4. The motivation and dedication to keep this positive relationship thriving is admirable and paramount to D4's ability to community police. Having this great relationship with Blackstone Franklin Neighborhood Group allows our officers to be aware of the community's concerns so they are able to properly address them and improve the quality of life to everyone in the square. And in addition, this group also offers a 501 nonprofit that raises money for books, computers, and scholarships for the local youth in the area. They've maintained a strong presence in the parks and in the squares. And during the pandemic, they steadily kept up with Zoom meetings as well as updating the community via social media. And off several other times, they've sent in food to the officers on all shifts. Obviously, during the pandemic and a tough year with policing, they stood by us. And again, I just want to thank you, Jonathan, David, for all your support. He doesn't want to. Get in the picture. Come on.
He's a behind-the-scenes kind of guy.
Thank you.
Congratulations and thank you both. Our next award is going to the Gardner Pilot Academy.
Good afternoon, Mark Harrington, I'm the captain of District 14 in Alston Brighton. I'd like to introduce Sergeant Ed McMahon from my CSO office and Frank Hughes and our awardees. I'm going to let Frank introduce them. He's been working with them and known them for about 7 years, so I think it's only appropriate he gets to thank them.
Thanks, Tim. I just want to recognize Joe Serra and Nicolas Lopez. They're here on behalf of the Gardner Pilot Academy. Gardner Pilot Academy, located in the Alston section, is more than just an elementary school. In the many years that we've been working with the Gardner Pilot Academy, their staff has gone above and beyond for many of their students and the community that they work. They have helped to coordinate PAL soccer for many years, and some of the staff have even continued to work with the program years after they have left the school. During the recent pandemic, the staff, led by Vice Principal Joe Serra and Community Support Coordinator Nicolas Lopez, helped to coordinate grocery delivery and educational materials to all of the students in their school. They continue to keep their students engaged and cared for during a very difficult time for many of us. This, along with many other reasons, are why the Gardner Pilot Academy is our Community Group of the Year.
Congratulations. And I also told Nicola on her way in she gets our Best Dressed Award. Our next award winner is Linda Goler from the Archdale Housing Development.
Hi, good morning, or good afternoon. My name is Darren Greeley. I'm the captain at District 5. With me on my left, your right, is Linda Goler, our award recipient, Sergeant Scott O'Mara, and Nicole England. I have a little plaque to read here, but I'd rather just speak a little from the heart. The whole 2020 pandemic was absolutely brutal for everybody. Archdale Housing Development was spared none of that as well. She's our eyes and our ears. The community police are model, the police are the public, public are the police. It's so true with Archdale. Everything we do she helped us give out turkeys to numerous families in needs. Christmas is really tough for a lot of people to get money to afford to buy anything. We raised money with Linda. We took care of a lot of families in need. Not only that, but crime has been reduced over the last few years. We're talking about a few instances, but this is a continued collaboration. This is what we need in our city. This is what we have in our city, people like Linda. So I don't want to read off a script. I just want to tell you, we all thank her while we love her. She does a great job, and give her kudos. This is what we need in our community, Linda. Linda, go. Come on. Right up front. No mask either. Give a kiss. How you like that?
Linda, thank you and congratulations. Our next award goes to Yolanda Yvette Torres.
Hi, everybody. I'm John Doherty from District 13. Captain Hughes couldn't make it. He had another assignment today. Also with me is Josh De La Rosa from the Community Service Office, Ms. Yolanda Torres, and Mr. Wesley McKnight. They're with the Mildred Haley Tenants Association, and they are our nomination for the Crime Watch Group of the Year in 13. The Mildred Haley Tenants Organization has led us over the last year. They were a strong example of positive change that unified neighbors can make in their neighborhood. And that the tenants of Mildred Haley are lucky to have these leaders with their tenants organization. They were strongly impacted by the COVID pandemic. They suffered greatly during the past year or so. The tenants organization of Mildred Haley represents and serves almost 2,000 residents. There's over 840 apartments in that development. And in spite of the virus and the effects of it, the Mildred Haley Tenants Organization worked hard every day with the residents, the property managers, the elected officials, law enforcement, healthcare professionals, the outreach providers, and many others. The leader this year has been Ms. Yolanda Torres, who was newly named president of the organization last summer. She has served the group for many years as a resident, volunteer, and she jumped right into the leadership role. She didn't miss a beat. In spite of the COVID problems, she led the way all year. And the quality of life in Mildred Haley has continued to improve every day because of their work. The group holds monthly meetings with residents, with public safety agencies, community partners, and more. They provide services, including the food drives, clothing drives, services, and information to the residents. As a result of this, the crime in District 13 reduced about 11% in 2020 and 30% so far this year, and that's a big part of the effort of the people of Mildred Haley. Some of the partners that Mildred Haley's worked with are the Boston Housing Authority, Martha Elliott Health Center, Brigham and Women's Hospital, our department, the Mass DCR, Jamaica Plain Tree of Life, one of the big partners of Mildred Haley, Jamaica Plain Development Corporation, and many more. And it's been a pleasure to work with Yolanda and everybody at Mildred Haley, and it's an honor and a pleasure to award you this year.
No.
Congratulations. All right, kids, I think we saved the best one for last. What do you think? Our next award is going to Elias Akiki.
Good afternoon. My name is Joe Gillespie. I'm the captain in District E18. Today I have with me Officer Bill Hubbard, and I have Elias Kiki. I thought you were coming up. All right. His wife Rita, Mia, Moni, and Leo. And Elias has lived in Rosendale since his parents emigrated from Lebanon in 1972. He started to work at his father's business, Kiki Auto Body, at age 12. You guys better get going. By 19, he had purchased his parents' business with only one employee during a time of financial hardship. He then bought the building next door, and he started a Kiki Auto Repair in his early 20s. 5 years later, he bought the old Gibbs gas station, remodeled it, and became a gas station and a car wash. By age 38, he started his towing company and had over 70 employees. Just recently, in 2018, he bought an old foundry building at 1550 River Street. He renovated it and relocated his auto body shop there. He's not just a business owner, he is also a landlord in Hyde Park. He consistently tries to improve the Hyde Park neighborhood, as he has bought over 12 dilapidated houses and lots and has turned them into viable, remodeled family homes. And just a quick story, in October of 2020, a commuter on the commuter rail called the Hyde Park Main Street's office to complain about seeing car tires on the embankment behind a Kiki gas station as they rode the commuter rails. Elias investigated this and found out that it was land that was far behind his property. However, he paid a few $1,000s to have it cleaned up, and hundreds of tires were removed. He did this even though it wasn't his property, and this dumping ground was decades old. He did this because people saw it when they passed through Hyde Park, and he didn't like that as they rode the commuter rail. Pretty impressive. He's also sponsored the Hyde Park Main Street fundraisers. He donates to local children's sports teams, churches, Rotary clubs, pretty much everything. And even this past winter during COVID, when we had to cancel the Innocent Tree Lighting, which is a big event in Hyde Park in Cleary Square, Elias decided to sponsor the Santa Caravan, and he gave out $5,000 worth of ice cream. Where's ice cream? It's always ice cream. Gift cards, and yeah, he gave gift cards. I might try that next time. Yeah, and goodie bags to the residents along the route in District E18. He also continues to sponsor the holiday decorations on lampposts. He funds new banners, and he assists with watering many of the flower planters in our community. Pretty much does everything, and that's why he's here today. And we're very lucky to have him as a member of our community, and we're honored to recognize him here today. Thank you, Elijah. Thank you.
So thank you very much to all of the award winners today. The work that you do is incredible, and we are so very thankful to have you working with us day in and day out. Before we end the program, we have a very special award to give out today. Many of you know him. Wallace Tilford is from my office. He is Mr. National Night Out. He has run every National Night Out event that we have had. He will be retiring this year, so this is his last National Night Out event. He actually told me when I was pregnant with my first child that he was retiring. My child turned 7 2 weeks ago. But he has told me every day that that's when he's retiring, and I'm just so thankful, actually, that he stayed as long as he did. We are very sad to see him go, but we would like to give him a big thank you. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to Superintendent Baston.
Well, come on up.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Superintendent Baston, and I also didn't know I was going to say some words, and I'm not going to read this plaque because I can't see. And I've been in this unit as long as when I was with Wallace, with only 10 years on. Didn't need glasses, so that shows you a long time I've been in this unit with Wallace. Just to give a little background about him, and I first want to thank also all the award winners and echo what the mayor said and the chief said, that, you know, our numbers and the city being safe is all because of you guys working with us. Without the partnerships, the city would not be like it is. Without the partnerships on the ground with the CSO sergeant and the officers, like the captain said, you guys are our eyes and ears and working together, both sworn and civilian. I see it, I'm in the community, and I want to give you all a round of applause again for all the work you do. You know, I just want to give a little background that I've been on now the command staff since almost 14 years, almost going on 15 years. And when I first came on, I used to work the wagon, B3, B2, C11. And when I came onto the command staff and they told me I was going to be in the neighborhood watch unit, and I met Mr. Wallace, and he sat me down, and he's been here for how many years now?
28.
28 years, 3 different police commissioners, 3 different mayors, in and out of directors, and he sat me down and said, we're going to work in the community, sit in people's living rooms, sit in people's community centers, and I said, well, I thought we were the police. We're going to listen to what they're saying? That's how much I did not know what community policing was, and having the voices of the neighbors, having the voices of the residents. I really didn't know. And Wallace sat and taught me. We sat year after year. And if you think of Neighborhood Watch, you know it's Wallace Tilford. If you think of years ago when they used to put the, like you said, put the lights on the balconies, that's what Neighborhood Watch was, and that's what, you know, National Night Out was. I think Wallace was even around when we had the holding the hands over the bridge.
Yes, we started that.
Wallace started that. We were in trolleys. We were in Franklin Park Zoo at the time with Mayor Menino. Everyone knows Mayor Menino, and he would change it. And we planned for this in January, you guys. It's a lot of planning that goes behind in the Neighborhood Watch Unit. And every year it was a different theme. We were in hailstorms. We were at UMass Boston trying to give out healthy lunches at one point. And we saw things that were successful, and we saw things that weren't successful. But the common theme was that Wallace always sat down at the table, always had the plans, and always knew how to bring people together. And that's a very unique thing that could never be replaced. And that we're not only going to miss him in the Neighborhood Watch Unit, but the city's going to miss him because he's done so much sitting down planning. And also, when you say women know how to take over, he's also been in a unit filled with women. And at one point, when we planned for this like I said, since January, I started saying, this is like The View. And he would come in, and we would all have our coffee mugs, and he would be like probably in his head, like, I have to put up with these women for 30 minutes. And then we started getting under his skin on purpose. And I remember one day he came in smelling really good. And we said, what is that, Wallace? And he said, that is high karate cologne. And
It was not high karate.
What was
You
it?
said it was high karate.
Oh, we gave it a name, see? And Wallace just sat there, but we learned from him. We learned from when it was that, you know, year after year after year, how do we get better and how do you bring people together? Whether it was a flashlight walk and there would be literally no people there, Wallace would show up and say, don't worry about it. And I think he would just do speed dial and people would come out of anywhere because he was so connected with the community. And that's what Neighborhood Watch is about. That's what National Night Out is about, but it's about all year. We're just celebrating today. And no one has done it longer than Wallace, and he is going to be so missed. But I want to know, Mayor Janey, if next year he can be the head of the cavalcade with us. No, really, could he be head of the cavalcade in the VIP? Because he was.
We're not going to let him go.
We're not going to let him go because he was always the advance team. So when the cavalcade would come and pull up, it was like a well-oiled machine, and we get out of the car. But Wallace was ahead, making sure the parking, making sure the awards, and all the CSOs know how much planning went behind. You know, the only hiccups we had is when I lost my keys, and Superintendent O'Rourke wanted to kill me, and when I forgot my hat, and when the microphone didn't work, and for months and months and months, he said, I want the microphone to work. That's all he used to say. In every meeting since January, I would say, the microphone working, the microphone working. The first stop in Hyde Park, the microphone wasn't working. And Wallace pulled out something out of his trunk, like a mobile mic. So every year, Wallace, you have made the National Night Out successful. We are going to miss you. I can't read the plaque, so Deputy Chin is going to read the plaque because I don't have my glasses. But I just want to say personally that I've learned so much from you. My whole career I've been with you. And like I said, this bureau was created because of Wallace and the work that he has done. And I just want to say that I am so proud of you and I'm going to miss you. Thank you.
So she didn't bring her glasses, so I had mine. And that's probably what I do is just read. But before I read this plaque, I just want to say to Wallace, I mean, I've been on 28 years, and when I first came on as a rookie, I remember seeing this guy. I'm like, man, he's a sharp-dressed guy. Like, look at this guy. Shoes, tie, always impeccable. You know, thousands of community meetings that he's been to, and I'm sure he knows a lot of you in this room. And my experience with him is he told me all these old stories about himself, which he probably hasn't shared much of, but he has ancestries back to the pharaohs in Egypt. He's got this picture in his office, and it's very funny, but he says, yeah, Deputy, come over here and take a look at this picture. He was in the Air Force?
Yes.
Army.
Yes.
Army. And he was jumping out of a plane.
Supposedly, yes.
Right? And so there's this big picture, and there's like this little dot of a man coming out of a plane. And he says, that's me, right? And I said, how do I know that's you? He goes, because I told my buddy to take a picture of me when I jumped out of that plane. So,
True.
So he has all these years and years of stories, but that's his connection to the community, and he shares a lot of his personal life with everyone, including us, and sometimes he gets long-winded, but I listen to him anyways. But yeah, his experience definitely is going to be missed. You know, years and years of experience with the community. He's taught me a lot. He's taught a lot of the young officers, probably many of you in the room, what community policing is about, community engagement. So I'm honored to actually read this plaque to give to him. So I'm going to start here. It says, Distinguished Service, Wallace Tilford, in grateful appreciation of your 27 years of service, I think it's 28, but with the Boston Police Department, especially recognizing your work while assigned to the Neighborhood Crime Watch Unit. Your efforts supported residents, businesses, youth, and families, and helped the department improve the manner in which we deliver service to the community. Thank you for your exceptional work ethic and dedication and leadership, and the guidance you provided to the department personnel, which contributed directly to the efforts to improve the quality of life in neighborhoods across Boston. There you go.
I'm not going to hold people. I've been holding this for 28 years. I'm ready to go home. Okay, I really am. But it's been a pleasure working for the city of Boston and working with all the communities. I've worked every police district. I've created over 300 crime watch groups, and I'm tired. I'm tired, really. But I want to thank everybody for this award, all the people I work with.
You miss us?
Oh, yeah. When I came to the crime watch unit in 1994, 2 years later, a good friend of mine came, Frank Hughes, who's probably the oldest person in the neighborhood watch now. You are. Okay? Because everybody else is gone. Okay? We're gone. We're done. So I hope the best for you, and I hope you make it for the rest of the time, okay? But thank you very much, and I appreciate this, and I hope everybody had a wonderful time. And next year, the cavalcade will be back.
Yes. We'll be in it.
All right. Up front. Thank you.
Let's get a picture.